Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson, along with David Morris of QB Country, coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Thank you very much for joining us, David. David has done some, training with Mac Jones most recently, and I wanted to bring him on to kind of get his take from Mac Jones, not only from the pro day perspective, but kind of outside of the 2020 season following Alabama's incredible run to a college football national championship. David, thank you very much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, so yesterday, Alabama had their second pro day and got to see Mac Jones, Najee Harris. We even had an opportunity to see Devonta Smith, which was great, considering we hadn't seen him since the national championship game. But specifically talking about Mac Jones, you're working with him. Kind of provide the backstory about how long you've been training with Mac Jones and kind of your kind of relationship with him.
Yeah, so me and Matt got connected last off season, and maybe the off season before that actually. And he was going to try to get down here last off season, but COVID kind of interrupted those plans. And so our first time to train was that first time he came to Mobile after the national championship game. And so I guess that was like the 16th of January or something like that. And so we've been kind of with each other since then, and just had a great process with him, and just it was a kind of a joy to be around a guy that is dialed in and that takes the process seriously, and one that's kind of considers it to be a big priority. I've seen different personalities go through this thing, and he's one that kind of has a pro mindset.
Now, when you look at a quarterback like Mac Jones, it's really interesting because I think there was, and here's some footage of Najee Harris, who had a fantastic showing, by the way, yesterday. But when you talk specifically about Mac Jones, and I wanted to get your take on this, he played close to 230 pounds, or it seemed, during the 2020 season. Do you think when you look at him right now, I mean, he's not 230 pounds, obviously. What would you say that he plays at in the NFL? Does that even matter? Does that take away some of the athleticism that he does have? What's your kind of take on, his body style and his overall athleticism?
He's a really good athlete. He's an athlete that I would say that he's underrated there. And he ran 4.7.
Yeah.
Actually ran 4.6 high as well. So, I mean, he's much faster than people think. He had a great 5.10.5 in L drill as well. So I would say he's people just say because he kind of operates in the pocket that he's not athletic. He is very athletic, and it's just one of those things that he just isn't going to be athletic unless he has to be, because he's going to operate the offense. But as far as weight, I mean, I want to say he probably played in low 220s last year, and he's 217 right now. I like him at 217. I think he feels good, body looks good, lean and can move well. I thought his feet got better during the process, and he worked hard at it. And I think in the league, I would say it's probably right there, 215 to 220 range.
Here with David Morris of QB Country. Appreciate you joining us today. One of the things that really stood out to me when watching Mac Jones last year, and I thought Steve Sarkisian obviously had a great deal with this, it was just the efficiency of Mac Jones. I mean, he was one of the most efficient, if not the most efficient quarterback in college football. What do you see when working with him in terms of his schematics and kind of the understanding of the game, and kind of talk about what you feel that he excels at, and specifically around that kind of efficiency, and maybe talk about arm strength, and if maybe arm strength might be a little bit overrated. Kind of wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah, I mean, efficient and consistent is exactly what he is. He's 77% this year. Hard to do much better than that. Touchdown interception ratio was off the charts. And so, I mean, he knows how to play quarterback. He knows how to play it intelligently, and he understands, how to finish drives and when to call it a day as well. And so 4 interceptions this year, a ton of attempts, and threw for over 4,500 yards. I mean, just an incredible year. I think it goes to a lot of that is due to his preparation, the way he understands, the moment and how big this opportunity was this past year, and the responsibility he feels, therefore to prepare for these moments. And that's where he kind of creates differentiation, in my opinion, is he knows how to prepare
Mhm.
for when his number is called. As far as physical attributes, I mean, he has a strong arm. I mean, I think he threw two in the air yesterday, over 60 yards. So,
Mhm.
at what point, who threw further than that in the process? Maybe a guy or two, but like, when does that even happen, right? So, like,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a guy that can throw it close to 70 yards, and the whole arm strength thing and the athleticism thing, to me, honestly, is kind of lazy. It's a lazy evaluation. If you watch his film and you watch the tape, this is a guy that has plenty of arm. He has plenty of touch. He has plenty of anticipation. So when you're talking about a quarterback, you don't want just this guy with a cannon, but doesn't have touch and anticipation or accuracy. You want a guy that first has accuracy, that understands anticipation, when to get it out, and then arm strength is obviously an aspect, and he's got plenty of it. So I think he showed that yesterday. Man, if anybody's wondering about his arm in the last 2 weeks, man, I think he threw close to 20 deep balls yesterday, and he missed maybe two of them, but they were overthrows. So, like, it's just not an issue. And then when you talk about accuracy, that's kind of his sweet spot. I would say this: from workout to workout, or pro day 1 to pro day 2, what you see is just a consistent passer, and that's really what you want. And so that's probably his greatest attribute is consistency. And I think that's what coaches want in a quarterback: a consistent decision maker, excuse me, and a consistent passer. And that's who Mac Jones is.
When you look at Mac Jones, when you guys are breaking down film, I always kind of rewind to this specific clip before Alabama played Missouri, and the reporters were asking him about kind of Missouri's defense, and he goes on and he lists every single guy on the Missouri defense, their jersey number, guys who have changed jersey numbers, where they're at on the defensive side of the ball. And I think he even touched on it recently, and we spoke with him Monday as well. That photographic memory that he has. Do you see that translate to the film room, and how talk about his IQ just when kind of breaking down film and kind of understanding concepts?
I mean, he's an academic kid. I want to say he's a 4.0 student. Studying is important to him. And I'd say he's type A about it. And he doesn't want to miss a detail, even in preparing for pro day. I mean, there's just the detail in which he went about his business every day, even kind of taking over the script in one degree, which I love, because it shows that he knows what he wants. This guy knows how to prepare. Again, I mentioned it earlier. It's unique. It's over the top, but anybody who's had a ton of success at this position has the unique over the top way of getting ready week in, week out. So yeah, I mean, he has great recall naturally, but he also studies a lot. And so, his attention to detail there in preparation, whether it be for a Saturday game, or in the future now a Sunday game, or just getting ready for practice on a Tuesday or Wednesday, like is going to be somewhat over the top. And I think that's part of what just makes him unique. And there's this competitive thing that understands it. Like, I'm gonna know my job, and I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna execute.
Yeah, and I think you're right. And I think you bring up a great point, because when I look at Mac Jones, I mean, you see him here smiling. You see him, yesterday they're messing around, him, Najee, and I think it was Devonta. They run a little option pass, whatever, having fun with it. But at the same time, like, when it's time to get dialed in, I mean, he is dialed in. And when he makes a mistake, I mean, you could tell that he's a perfectionist, because he'll go to the sideline and he knows that the ball should have been placed maybe in a different spot, or there was a different read or whatever. So, yeah, he loves to have fun. Of course, I think that's important. We should all be like that. But when it's time to go to work, this guy is certainly prepared. A couple other things that I want to talk to you about, Mac Jones, before I let you go, here with David Morris of QB Country. I think that, there's been some recent buzz about Mac Jones being even potentially a top 5 pick. I mean, who knows what's going to happen in the NFL draft? I know there was kind of reports that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch were in Tuscaloosa watching Mac Jones. Clearly, I wasn't there. I don't know if those guys were, but there was a lot of pro scouts there. Before this season even started, there was a camp that didn't even want Mac Jones to start for Alabama in 2020. And you kind of look at the season that he pieced together, throwing for 4,500 yards, leading Alabama to a perfect season, arguably one of the best seasons ever. And What do you continue to see kind of from him at this point going into the NFL draft? I mean, would you be surprised if he's taken outside of the top 15? It doesn't look like that's going to happen. I mean, he looks like, from everything that we kind of put together, I mean, this guy is definitely worth a top 15 pick, if not even higher.
Yeah, I mean, I try to stay away from projections and, mock drafts and all that. They're fun to look at, and it's fun to say, oh, wow, we could be here or there. But it's a distraction because we can't control it. And so I think he feels the same way. I mean, do I think he'll get outside the top 15? Probably not. The draft never surprises me. I've had guys go real high that I didn't know that they would go that high. And I've had guys go much later than what we thought they were going to go. And so the worst thing you could do is to kind of have this kind of landmark of which, where we're going to go or where we fall past or where we early as we can go. And just all a distraction because we don't really know. You just can control what you can control, get ready. He's had tons of meetings with tons of incredible organizations. And I think he feels like, there's a lot of faith here too, that he just kind of trusts that this thing's going to end up where it should. And he's going to make the most of that opportunity.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, you can look at draft all day long and you can compare all the quarterbacks, whatever. It means zero, right? I mean, these guys are going to go wherever they need to go and they're going to still have to work hard to compete on Sundays. Can you tell us about QB Country? I've heard about it before. I would like, I don't know if you work with high school athletes or just guys who are out of college, but can you explain about QB Country? Maybe there's some under the radar quarterbacks that need to fine tune their game. So can you tell us a little bit more about your organization?
Yeah, thanks. So QB Country is a quarterback training and development company. We're based out of Mobile, Alabama, where Mac trained during the draft prep process. We're now we just opened Orlando, which will be our 12th location, kind of a southeastern company. We're as far east as New Jersey, as far west as DFW, Dallas. Yeah. Ultimately, our bread and butter really is high school, middle school, meaning that's predominantly who we train all year round. Okay. We train, we got 13 guys in the league and we had, 4 NFL starters last year. Majority of those guys are guys that grew up in QB Country and we continue to train them. And so as we've gotten older and, we've created programs, for NFL quarterbacks and as draft prep programs. And, but ultimately, we believe that our model is, we want to get a kid young and we want to help him grow him up. And we have programs built for every aspect of the climb. We value the second stringer and that just high school starter just as much as we value somebody like Mac. Every kid is important. Every person is important. We believe that we can make an impact on that kid's life, and we believe that he can make an impact on our life. And therefore, anybody that we come in contact with, whether it be a 5-star or no star or NFL starter or youth quarterback, we're going to give that kid all we can give them. Our coaches are incredible people. They love the relationship. They understand the opportunity and responsibility we have when we can train and coach up young children or young men. And we believe that, that we do have a responsibility to call forth, the best in them. And so we use football to help, to kind of give back what we've all been given through the game. And ultimately we feel like we've been given a lot. So it's our responsibility to give it back. And it's just cool to be able to help open up doors for kids. We had over 40 quarterbacks sign in the 2021 class in general, right? And we've had over 150 in the last 3 classes and just quarterbacks. And so what's happening is kids are growing up and we've gotten better at, recruiting advisory stuff and helping connect dots and connect people. And, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to be in this niche and to help think that, we can make this, create opportunities and grow some better quarterbacks and young men.
Yeah, so definitely check out QB Country, and we'll put the link to their website inside the description box underneath this video. David, before I let you go, we have to have some fun with this, all right? Mm-hmm. Yesterday, Landon Dickerson, okay? Landon Dickerson is a big man. Everybody knows Landon Dickerson, right? 6'6", I don't know, 325, 330 pounds.
Best center in the draft, right?
Yeah, and look at this. I mean, okay, did you see this, and what were your
I
thoughts on it?
did.
Let's break this down.
I was over there talking to somebody, and I saw. It's funny. Last week, Mac was doing an interview, and Landon was doing the Army crawl. If you hadn't seen it, you got to go back
Yeah,
and Google it. But I mean, this guy. First of all, man, Landon Dickerson is an incredible guy. He snapped for us last week at Pro Day #1. He didn't have to do that. He's coming off ACL, but just an incredible personality, incredible talent, best center in the draft, right? But I think he does a good job of kind of making things fun, and I think that's important. I know him and Mac are best friends, and they have a genuine love for each other. But I mean, like the way he ruined that interview was unbelievable. I thought last week was an A. I mean, because he literally crawled for about 20 yards, and this year this pro day he does. I was just amazed that he was doing that many cartwheels in a row. I was like, holy cow. Like that's impressive. So I would say that I mean, I don't know how you can do any better than that, but I'd say did a heck of a job there.
yeah, and then one more thing, Najee, obviously Devonta Smith back there. I mean, it's really incredible to see these guys. I mean, because to see their craft and to see these guys continue to work hard. I mean, isn't it just mind blowing that Alabama just continues to just pump out these guys? And I mean, I'm sure you saw Najee yesterday. Were you impressed as I was? I mean, watching him.
I really was. I mean, we over the last week, he's been around a lot, getting ready for this pro day, and me and Coach Dickerson, Joe Dickinson, who's Mac's longtime quarterback coach, did a heck of a job with Mac growing up. Did a heck of a job with Mac during this process. He's a guy that really helped me a lot and helped Mac a lot. But me and Joe looked at each other this time last week after it was Najee's first day, and we were just like, oh my gosh, I mean, you see him run on TV and everything, but you see him, make a cut or make a break and then catch the ball. I mean, this guy has has Kamara type skills, catching the ball, in my opinion. And he happens to be the best back in the, in the draft class. So couldn't be more impressed. Devonta came out yesterday. He didn't have to do that. Came out. Him and Mac hadn't thrown a whole lot. They didn't miss a beat. There's a ton of chemistry there. I think they feel one thing that Alabama does is people understand the responsibility that you have in playing this game, the responsibility you have to each teammate. And you kind of saw that yesterday, and it was really, really cool to kind of sit back and be an observer, but just see these guys kind of do what they do. And then, the talent, is special.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, David. We really appreciate you joining us today, and we'll definitely send people over to QB Country. But we sincerely grateful for your time. I know you've got a busy schedule, and interested to see what the future holds for Mac Jones, and maybe we'll have you on another time because the quarterbacks don't stop at Alabama and across the country. So definitely check out QBU, and thank you very much for you guys watching this video on BamaInsider.com. Hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time.